Again with this guy, making this 5 a.m. Pablo drop. I feel so bad for Clippers public relations. Like, they have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and see what he's doing and sit through an hour-long episode because he doesn't get to the point right away. Like, you have to fast forward to 30 minutes in before you get to the actual story. But now he's got yet more paperwork, and I don't know how it is that Zazzlo and Billy are saying, yeah, Silver's not going to do anything. I don't believe that there's a way, given that we have so much documentation. Usually these investigations are private, and the leagues are doing it. We don't find out much of anything unless Ted Wells is doing a $5 million report. But the Clippers are in big trouble.
I would think so, but Adam Silver got up in front of people the other day and said he's never heard of aspiration.
He walked that back. He did walk it back, and you called him full of crap yesterday. But Pablo's got more this morning. He's slow playing this. He puts chum in the water, and then people come out and talk about it who don't know what they're talking about it, and then he makes them look dumb.
Why do they? Okay, at this point, shouldn't they have realized maybe I shouldn't say anything because Pablo's got more stuff that's going to come out?
Well, I think they've learned that since.
I think so. No one's talking anymore.
I think now they've learned it. I think now everyone is being a lot more careful. I mean, the initial statement from the Clippers was this was provably false, and they've been backpedaling like Deion Sanders since then.
It does feel a little bit like how you describe boxing, not that I've ever watched or will ever watch, but the way you describe it is like you're luring your opponent into getting hit, so you just kind of slow play it, and that's how Pablo feels. It's, here, I'll give you a little bit of this, get you to make a statement, ooh, actually I have this. Get you to make another statement, ooh, actually I have that. It's insane.
Jeremy, it's called the rope-a-dope. Watch When We Were Kings. That's when boxing was boxing.
I disagree. I think
When We Were Kings was certainly when boxing was boxing.
And when was that?
I don't think you have to go back to 1968. I think Crawford just did that to Canelo. Lured him in a couple times, and then Canelo looked. When he got hit, when Canelo got hit after he saw his opening, he looked around as if he didn't understand what had just happened to him because of how Crawford had lured him in.
Just to be clear, I said boxing was boxing during the Thrilla in Manila, and you countered with, no, Canelo versus Bud Crawford on Netflix this
Terrence
weekend.
Crawford. You said...
Isn't his nickname Bud?
I think it's Bud. Yeah.
You said...
Thank you. Wow.
Sorry,
Look
who?
at me. Pugilist specialist.
You don't know who he is either, Dan?
You said that boxing wasn't something that had feints and rope-a-dopes since the 60s, and I was saying, no, we just saw it last weekend.
No, I said boxing was boxing during When We Were Kings, which is a great documentary, one of the greatest ever. You should watch that, Jeremy.
Agreed, it is great.
That's when boxing was boxing, not on a Netflix card that nobody I know outside of you and Juju is talking about.
Now, does he have any relation to Carl Crawford?
Boxing,
that's when baseball was baseball.
Yeah,
boxing
that's actually
is
right.
still boxing. I don't think you could say
I'm
that
not sure it
boxing
is.
is not boxing.
Did Jeremy say he's never seen boxing?
He doesn't care about the
Not
combat
willingly.
sports. Yeah.
I have to walk something back as the resident pugilist specialist. It was the Rumble in the Jungle, not the Thrilla in Manila.
Where's Billy?
My socks are wet.
Am I making you miss Billy?
Where is he? Why is he not here?
I felt like I filled the role adequately in this segment.
By just bothering me?
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
We have Jimmy Kimmel stuff to talk about, and obviously we have Dolphin stuff to talk about, but I have Billy Gill paying a punishment. I believe it's the first time that Billy Gill is paying a punishment since he was an old-timey baseball player, and so we go out immediately to Billy Gill. Billy Gill live.
He looks like an idiot.
Billy, can you hear me? What are you doing? What is the punishment you're serving today? Finally, we're getting a punishment served. You named yourself commissioner. You didn't serve any punishments the year that you were the commissioner, but you're finally paying a punishment. What is the punishment you're paying today in the rain? Is that your home?
This is an undisclosed location where I am planting my third tree. I was supposed to plant one tree as the Kawhi punishment, which really was planting no trees because that's what Kawhi did. But I'm now planting my third tree to satisfy you guys.
The first two trees were artificial intelligence. We saw the images.
Falsehoods.
It's not falsehoods and fallacies, Billy. It was very clearly AI.
Bring up one of the images
No,
so we can see it.
Billy, don't make the video team try to do stuff you haven't prepared while you're at an undisclosed location trying to befoul our show. Are you going to start? Do you have the materials you need to plant the tree from an undisclosed location?
Well, I was told those would be provided for me.
But told by whom? It's your punishment. You got to serve the punishment. What do you mean it was provided? You don't have a tree.
You think Kawhi was showing up with trees to plant himself? No, he shows up and dig a hole, plant a tree, whatever. You know.
Did you just push the stunt Dan? There we go.
Thank you.
Good job, Danny.
Now the bit of I forgot my shovel is not going to work later.
Right. So what kind of tree do you have? What kind of tree do you have that you're planting?
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny. Yes. Do you know anything
It's
about
hard to explain why I don't have a shovel later, and he just handed it to me 3 seconds in, but that's okay. Oh, God. Now it's stuck in the tree.
It is hard to do this with a microphone.
What was the question?
The question was, what kind of tree is now laying flat on its side, which is not how you want a tree? What kind of tree is that? Do you know anything about what you're doing today?
Yeah, this is a Barbie pink guava tree that I will be planting today.
Nice. At an undisclosed location. Okay, we will check in with you when Pablo Torre shows up. You will befoul his segment. We'll check in with you when Chris Wittingham shows up. We will befoul his segment. Anything else that you have? You don't think Adam Silver is going to punish anybody for what Pablo is reporting, correct?
Well, I mean, if the guy won't stop snitching, like every week he's like, oh, well, guess what else I know? Guess what else I know? And he's kind of forcing the commission's hand here, you know?
Why is it
As it was,
snitching?
I
He's
thought we
being
were
a
fine.
journalist. He's being a... That's not snitching.
Oh, please. No, in my
What do you mean,
streets,
no, please?
you know what would happen. Stitches. There's a fine line between snitch and journalist, I will just say.
Let's hear this. Yeah.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is there a fine line between snitch and journalist? Because, Billy, you're one of the loudest national critics of Pablo Torre's reporting, which has been pretty impeccable.
I had falsehoods on that as well. I'm just trying to bring perspective to this distorted reality. What is this? I'm just trying to bring perspective to this distorted view of this story, you know? Oh, this is the biggest story in the history of man. This is the greatest invention ever, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Meadowlark, we did it. We almost had Charlie Sheen's documentary, you know? I'm just here to say, hey, you know, most people don't care if football started. Dolphins, Bills, Thursday night football, Buffalo. Tua went dressed like he was going to a blizzard when it's supposed to be in the high 60s tonight. We'll see what happens.
What are you wearing? Are those overalls? What is on your chest? I can't see. Like, what are you wearing?
I think those are gloves on his
as
chest.
as you can, for frame of reference, you can see that when I planted the last two trees, this is my planting raincoat that I wear, and it's apropos because it's raining today. And then I have my gardener overalls on, as I do when I plant things. And then these are my gardening gloves, and you can see there's still dirt on them from the last time.
All right, we will check in with you later. There's not dirt on them from the last time. You tried to trick us with AI. You have
Well,
not.
what's this dirt from then?
You have not planted any trees. That is not proof.
Wasn't out with any waiters or waitresses. You know what I mean? That's an OJ reference.
We'll see you later. Thank you. We'll end on that note. We'll check in with you a little bit later on. We really didn't need an OJ reference there.
Who would have gotten that reference?
That's why he explained it. Generally, jokes don't work when you have to explain them afterward. The Dolphins play tonight, a game that Zazzlo is saying is something that is going to shift the franchise permanently.
Yeah.
I would ask the question of the group here. This is the biggest point spread we've had this season, correct? 12 points. There's been no bigger point spread this early in the season. And I think I can say this. If the Dolphins were to win tonight, it would be the biggest surprise we've had this season as well, correct? No one's expecting the Dolphins to do anything, because if you haven't seen what it is that the Bills have done, the Bills, they haven't had an offensive turnover. They're scoring on 64% of their drives. They're averaging 502 yards per game. That's the highest in the NFL, and this is the biggest spread that the Bills and Dolphins have had since 2023. Zazzlo, why do you believe that this is a game, a season-changing, franchise-changing Thursday night?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a seminal moment in Dolphins franchise history. Now, when I say that, I don't think it's hyperbolic, because what I mean by that is I think tonight is going to be so ugly that it is going to force major changes on the franchise. It doesn't mean that those major changes are going to wind up being good things. We've had major changes in the franchise before, and look at you now. Like, we're still where we are. So I don't believe it's going to necessarily result in anything good, but I think we're going to be able to look back at, wow, remember that Thursday night game against Buffalo? That's when this guy got fired, and this guy got traded, and this guy got benched, and this happened. I think what goes down tonight, we are going to remember this.
Was that your Pacino again?
Yeah. Look at you now.
Not as good as your other one.
Big time.
You know when he says that, look at you now? That's when the hitman in Scarface, when the hitman wants to kill, you think I kill women and children? You think that's what I do? And then he shoots me there. Look at you now.
I'm glad that you're doing impersonations, because I've told the people listening to this that Zaz is making a giant impact at ESPN. Everyone's noticing now. He's getting the flattery that people get when you mimic them, when you impersonate them. Evan Cohen, part of the unsportsmanlike crew on morning radio on ESPN. Evan Cohen, who came up through South Florida, clearly jealous of Zazzlo, clearly infuriated that Zazzlo is getting suites on the road and flying first class.
Obvious jealousy.
And not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to prepare a show because he's,
because that's insanity.
Because he's got the star power that comes with being a rising personality at ESPN. Now, Evan Cohen on their very popular morning show is impersonating Zazzlo. Can we play that sound, please?
I know Zaz is listening, so let me know. Just
I'm supposed to talk to Zaz later on today.
Oh.
Going on his podcast.
That's not going to go well for him, I'll tell you that.
Miami sports expert.
I'm a Miami sports expert.
Jonathan Zazzlo.
You're a big guy. I'm a small guy. I'm Jonathan Zazzlo on ESPN Radio.
Let me tell you something. That is a truly horrific impression.
I'm a small guy.
I mean, Evan, you need to work on that.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo.
I don't know who that person is that he thinks that he's impersonating. I've never heard that person.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo.
That's a made-up person.
On ESPN Radio.
What a stinky impression that is.
Right.
You're a big guy.
That's a bad impression.
I mean, who are you doing?
I'm a small guy.
Not awesome.
That is not an awesome impression.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo.
Good impression or bad impression?
That's bad impression.
Bad impression.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo on ESPN Radio.
Who does a good Zazzlo impersonation?
Mike Ryan.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo.
I haven't heard a good Zazzlo impersonation. I'll be honest.
Guy.
Anyone that I've heard try and give a Zazzlo impersonation, you're not the real thing.
On ESPN Radio.
I second that.
No, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, who's talking?
I third that.
Is it me or me?
I'm a small guy.
It's me.
It's me.
And me.
And me.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo.
ESPN Radio.
On ESPN Radio.
I'm yet to hear a good impression.
On ESPN Radio. You're a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
I'm a small guy.
He's a little too big, that Chris Canty, I'll be honest.
I'm Jonathan Zazzlo
So
on ESPN Radio.
a few years ago, to get serious here for a moment,
Are you going to do the Brian Gumble, take off your glasses? We turn our attention to the fall of America.
a few years ago, Jon Stewart said, comedy doesn't change the world, but it's a bellwether. When a society feels under threat, comedians are who get sent away first. And we are watching, with the weaponizing of the FCC and the government, we're watching something that feels like it doesn't have a whole lot of precedent, because what Jimmy Kimmel said to get suspended indefinitely, and the people reporting around this don't know if he'll come back, aren't sure he'll come back. And what you're seeing is a reaction to something that is not in the top 100 of things Jimmy Kimmel has said on his program to antagonize Trump and the government. But hours after the head of the FCC said we can do this the easy way or the hard way, you saw something that stunned me. Even as I see that we live in complicated, turbulent times, even as I get scared and sad because people are being assassinated for their opinions, and the people who were loudest complaining about cancel culture that created the movement that we have today that results in something that feels like cancel culture, I'm watching something that for me, doesn't have precedent. I know Lenny Bruce was arrested once upon a time for making jokes, but seeing Jimmy Kimmel not have the protection of something as powerful as Disney, because corporate interests in media are filled with such cowardice that you have a situation where not even Bob Iger has the money or the power to stand up to the threat that is presently upon the shores of everyone in media because of how compromised they are by a series of mergers and money interests. And to see Bob Iger show this kind of cowardice and bend a knee again with Trump, not the first time, because what happens here is once you're a coward who's extorted, the bully's going to keep extorting the coward. And when they gave Trump $16 million on something that Stephanopoulos said, they opened the doors now to all of media feeling like it needs to capitulate to a threat. And now you get dangerously close to state-run media. And I will tell you, as someone who descends, grandparents and parents, from a childhood filled with, you can't trust the media, it's all propaganda. I've never seen in my lifetime America in the position it's presently in, where the media is running this kind of scared from power as if we're not a place that one of the chief principles is free speech. And I understand that private businesses don't have to adhere to free speech stuff, but there's no one who can look at what's happening here. You can't look at what's happening here and not say that this is a kind of threat that you have not seen before in the United States, where a comedian gets gone from a late night television show for commentary that, I'm telling you, doesn't pass for the top 100 of the things that he has said on his broadcast that would be offensive to a different political affiliation.
And it cashes in on a threat that was made by the president several months ago after Colbert. It was announced that Colbert would be leaving. By the way, Colbert still has the platform. They made the decision on the show. And some people online are saying he should have Jimmy Kimmel on as a guest, because that would be a wonderful way as a lame duck host to use the platform. But after the Colbert thing happened, the president went to his social media platform and said, Jimmy is next. And now he's kind of reveling in what happened, says Seth and the other Jimmy are next. This cashes in on what was on Project 25, something that during the campaign the president distanced himself from. And now very clearly the FCC is leveraging all these mergers, because the FCC only really controls the networks. But media, the state of media is such that these big networks are either merging with other companies that own these cable conglomerates. So you're not just leveraging the network television, the channels that you can get with your antenna, but also cable news. If you see what's happening with CNN and whose potential interests are at play there when it comes to mergers and acquisitions, it's very clear what is happening here. And I think I'm going to like Karen for the first time in my life because they seem to be really responding to feedback from people that are offended. And I'll put in a call, see if it helps, because this is absolutely wrong. This goes against our First Amendment rights. Even conservative talk show hosts such as Tucker Carlson are ringing the alarm bells right now.
Oh, but you simply can't have, if you're putting things next to each other, someone on Fox last week saying that you should just kill the homeless, which is disproportionately filled with combat veterans.
By the way, there was a shooting at a homeless encampment shortly after those comments, something that the media has not really covered all that much.
But that didn't have a penalty that was substantive.
Not network TV, but owned by Rupert Murdoch, which owns a network channel in Fox. No, there was an apology there, and then that cable news channel in particular is part of the cable news outlets that seem to not really run with the story of what happened in Minnesota either.
Government entities are being weaponized to put pressure in places that threaten principles that I care about deeply, and I was pretty sure that most Americans cared about deeply. I believe that when we talk about the freedom to speak freely to power, that is a core principle in America. And this one seems to have reached people in a way that I'm finding interesting, because now it's not cancel culture you're messing with, it's pop culture you're messing with, right? A lot of people are looking at this and being like, wait a minute, where in that joke that that the head of the FCC is describing as one of the sickest things possible,
and admitting that it's an unprecedented step in doing so?
We're watching stuff that we have not seen before, but the reaction has been very strong. I've been encouraged by a reaction where no matter what your political affiliations, most Americans are looking at stuff, and even if they're gleeful about this, most Americans are looking at this and being like, yeah, this is not the country that that the flag that waves in this country is supposed to represent something different than this.
I don't know what's real. I have election results that would probably thumb their nose at that. But I want to also be very clear, like, this is not a hypocrisy of mine. I've always maintained, the First Amendment rights protect you from prosecution and jailing. But if you work for the private sector and you say something offensive, that your employer has the right to do what it wishes. Now, this certainly seems subjective. This seems relatively benign. I'm applying my own feelings to this. But this comes as a part of an agenda and as a part of a threat from the president himself, and they're following through. And there's even the promise of more hosts being taken off of network television that have historically had a go at this administration. And it's a scary time. Especially when it appears to be something so benign.
Did the other late night hosts do or say anything last night after this news came out?
I didn't see late night television last night, which is part of the issue here, right? Some of these people have really been weakened, and maybe another time Disney could have been stronger under these circumstances, but I understand how you arrive at the common sense logic of you have all the money in the world, and all you're doing with that money is making more money and protecting more money. So these mergers are important, and Iger and Disney have a huge issue in the modern age. Beyond the merger, they're just not what they were because everything is so fractured, so they're not as strong as they were. But if people like Iger and Bezos and Zuckerberg can't stand up to this, what's the point of having money and power if all you're going to do with it is make more money and bow to power? Like, what is the point?
Making more money is important to them.
Well, it's the most important thing, obviously.
Yeah, and you're also saying that these are private companies, but they're also, in many instances, publicly traded companies that have so much riding on these mergers. I think that's what happened with Paramount, if we see
No, that's what's happening everywhere. He's got everyone leveraged on this one because that is exactly what happens. This isn't about free speech. It's just about accruing more power. That's all it is. And how do you accrue more power? The powerful bow before you. Nobody in power wants to fight because there's so much corporate cowardice here on fractured media and media that is now consolidating and needs to consolidate in reaction to got left behind by modern times, got left behind by all sorts of people going independent and is having trouble keeping up because they're run by a bunch of old people who do not know how to attract young people the way Mr. Beast does.
I do hope that this is an opportunity to unite a lot of people that over the last decade took offense to, air quotes, cancel culture and what I would say consequences for things that certain people say. This affects them too, because if you want this to establish a template, historically in this country, especially in my lifetime, the power is like on a pendulum and it shifts from side to side. And you don't want these rules applied to you. And I find it very curious to use the martyrdom of a free speech advocate to be doing these things.
This is extortion, and I don't know very much about extortion, but I do know that once you've allowed yourself to be extorted, you're going to keep being extorted. Like once you've shown that you're not going to fight this stuff, that you're just going to give millions of dollars away in order to protect your future investment, then you're just going to be someone who keeps doing that. This has consumed a lot of people last night. We're covering this because I do believe this one has reached a lot of people. I also see the self-interest in media types talking about this because we're scared. There's just simply fear because of what it is that you see happening. And as I see it happening, I am very grateful that we remain independent. It still makes me scared, by the way, to see everything that I see happening. But I'm wildly grateful that we can remain independent because this is a time where this country feels less free than it used to.
You're welcome.
Chris Cody, get me some sound here, if you would, of both Josh Allen and Tua as we talk about this game and segue into. I usually don't like to preview games. You know, I like to review games more than preview them. But I do believe that I'm having trouble finding a time where this Dolphin franchise felt like this, and we all lived through that 1-15 season.
Like, do you not agree with me thinking that this is a huge moment for this franchise tonight?
I thought Sunday was a huge moment for the franchise, and I think you can maybe thank the short week for the lack of change. And now this has to be Waterloo, right? This has to be.
Yeah, I think the coverage all day tomorrow is going to be about what do the Dolphins do now? I think that's the major NFL story all day tomorrow.
I was asking before about point spreads. What was the spread in that Browns-Ravens game?
Same spread that it is presently according to DraftKings, 12.5. So this ties the largest spread, and I'm with Zaz. We all expect the Miami Dolphins to lose tonight against a really good Bills team.
A team that has owned them for about the past 9 years.
That means the entire sports media will descend upon last night's result and only amplify what's going on here. It's unfortunate because they'll essentially have the sports and news cycle to themselves.
Yeah, like this
tomorrow.
would be different if this game was being played Sunday afternoon. Not the same. But the fact that it's a standalone game tonight and we're going to have all day tomorrow to react to it, I think it's a major moment for the franchise this evening and tonight, and then all day tomorrow is going to be very embarrassing.
We got to figure out what we can make happen in sports tonight that can steal some of the headlines tomorrow.
Because you want to protect the franchise?
I don't want.
You don't want the change?
It's what you said. Like the Friday after the game, it's just the whole space is here. We're gonna overanalyze. It's just I don't need.
I don't think it's overanalyzing.
I don't need every national show doing the Fire McDaniel tomorrow. We got that covered. All right, just give me something else in sports tonight so that other shows can lead with something.
You
else.
don't want every sports show saying how bad you are?
We got that.
If you're an agent of change, you probably do. It's like dates back to when USF beat Randy Shannon's Miami Hurricanes, and by the fourth quarter, I'm kind of rooting for USF because I want to see change.
I'm going to keep making the argument for if they're going to be this bad, why not just keep them through the year? Let's be bad. Let's be a 2-win team. Like, I don't want to bring in a coach that's going to fire the boys up, and now we're going to be 8-9 again. The classic Dolphins, middle of the draft.
I'm sure there's no chance there's some kind of camera catching Tyreek Hill blowing up on the bench tonight, right?
Oh,
like,
no.
That's not going to happen.
Well, you guys say be bad. The thing that I'm concerned about, and this doesn't happen that often in that league, right? The games are very often close. The thing that I'm concerned about is that they played the Patriots and Colts, and those aren't reputed, not preseason, reputed to be great offenses. Now, maybe Daniel Jones ends up surprising us all season, but the Dolphins are dead last in the NFL in EPA allowed per drive by a wide margin, and they've only played the Colts and Patriots. This is an offense that's coming in that averages 500 yards a game. So we run the risk. You remember when Dominique Foxworth was out here saying it was unethical for Brian Flores to have to coach that team?
That was funny.
That's what happens when you have the news cycle all to yourself.
See? That's going to be tomorrow. This is not safe what the Dolphins are doing.
I'm worried that what's going to happen, because for 2 games now, what's happened is the worst case scenario, worst fear of Dolphin fans, which is not just that they're going to be bad. No, they're going to be coast to coast, sea to shining sea, embarrassing like a laughingstock because they can't play football at all. They've caused 2 punts this year. Buffalo doesn't punt. Buffalo has no interest in punting. I'm hoping that the NFL is just NFLing tonight. But if you had to bet on it, I'm guessing the money's going on the Bills tonight.
Bills are my survivor pick for the week.
Over under half a punt tonight for the Bills.
I'll take the over. Half? Just a half? I'll go over. I'll crush that over.
Punt.
1 punt. Can I play a sound of Josh Allen that just shows how not worried he is about the Dolphins? If you use the phrase that you're about to hear from Josh Allen, you never use this if you're worried about somebody. It's just when you're like, couldn't care less.
Their front over there is filled with a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback, so we got to be on our P's and Q's.
See, he doesn't give a shit.
What
You don't
does
say
P's and
P's.
Q's
Like, exactly.
mean?
It's just like, he is so not worried. He's just like, yeah, they got good guys. We got to be on our P's and Q's, cross our T's, dot our I's.
Yeah, there's 2 of those cliches.
Why are we? What are we?
I don't know what P's and Q's are. I've said
What
that.
are P's and Q's? Hold on, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you know what P's and Q's are?
I know what it means to dot an I and cross a T. That's very thorough.
I
but
know that too.
I don't know what it means to be on a P and on a Q.
Anyone? Does anyone here know what it is to be on a P and on a Q? Because, yes, dotting an I and crossing a T is making sure to handle all the details. You don't want to leave any T's uncrossed because then it's just an L.
But you're indifferent about it, though. Like,
Wait a second.
You're not that worried about it, though. You're like, yeah, we got to be on our P's and Q's.
I don't think the Dolphins are going to cross their T tonight.
If you don't cross your T's and dot your I's, you just have 2 L's, which it's going to feel like the Dolphins have 2 of those tonight if they get beat by 30 points.
Dan, that would hit so hard if I were on a gummy.
Has a team ever just dotted the I's, but they forgot to cross
Right.
the T's, and so they were screwed, like they lost, because we only dotted the I's?
I'd still be shell-shocked.
Jeremy, you got P's and Q's?
So there's no technical origin, but when they've tried to figure it out, they think it is short for pleases and thank yous. P's and Q's.
He doesn't respect us.
Thank you.
Josh Allen does not respect us.
Thank you. You do say Q when you're saying thank you.
Q.
Wow,
Front
that
over
would
there
slap
is
if I were on the
filled
gummy.
with their front over there is filled with a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback, so we got to be on our P's and Q's.
They didn't even bother learning their names.
It's just he
the
could
front.
not be less worried about us. He watched the Netflix movie last night. He wasn't watching film. He's just enjoying his evening.
Josh Allen wakes up this morning, it's like, man, tonight's going to be fun, right? It's just, this is a fun outing that they're having tonight.
Bro, should I say Q instead of thanks? This is crazy.
What is more important, to dot the I's? I feel like it's more important to dot the I's than it is to cross the T's.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not. If you do a little I, you can infer that dot. But if you do a T, where that's coming up, you're gonna think it's an L,
Bro,
without the cross.
Bro, you got to put that little line after the in the Q. Otherwise, it's an O.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with any of this. I can't believe that nobody knows what P's and Q's are.
Holy shit! Same with the P.
Did you realize W is just two U's stacked together.
Wow. Q, man.
So wait a minute. You're saying the W is just a double U? You're saying it's two U's?
It's really a double V.
Oh, man, I got to get out of here. This is crazy.
So wait a minute. The W, the word W is just not one U, but two U's. It's a double U?
Dog, it can't that letter can't possibly be a word. The A is a word and I is a word, but W is not a word.
Roy, I just blew your mind. I blew my own mind with that. I'd never thought of the W as two U's.
I can't take it. There's so much going on.
It is.
Add this.
Too much.
Let's go back out to Billy and Danny trying to plant a tree so that we can find out what we need to find out about the conversation that we're having and the progress that Billy is making. He really did do... I believe now that wasn't AI earlier this week. I believe, given how Billy is presently dressed, wearing the same outfit that was in that, what we thought was an artificial intelligence
And his
photo.
gloves had dirt on them.
Yes, and Billy is now, you're wet too, Billy.
Not blood.
Has it stopped raining yet? Is there any danger? Is there any danger in you getting electrocuted with a microphone while it rains?
Business has picked up on the rain front. Is there a danger of lightning hitting me? Yes, but is the earth endangered of not having enough trees and oxygen for us to live on forever? Also, yes. So I will plant my third tree today, and I will risk my own safety for future generations to come.
Thank you, Billy. We appreciate that live report.
Also, Zazzlo's right. W's two V's, not two U's. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, and W is a letter, not a word.
Love the sound of rain.
It is spelt.
Thank you, Danny.
The word double.
Danny, be careful. It's
U.
monsooning over here.
Say that again, Jeremy, please.
It is spelt double, the word double, hyphen U. When you were trying to spell out W, that's how you would do it.
Isn't it? It's spelled?
Whoever spelt it dealt it.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you know how to spell the letter W? Because I've never seen it spelled. This is crazy.
Spelling a letter is wild.
Right now, we are in uncharted territory, doing some serious alphabet learning together as a show. Do not say that we do not provide a double service.
I have a question.
Double service. Yes, Billy.
So if you were to spell the word W with letters, do you then have to spell all of those letters that are used to spell the word, and it would just be an endless loops of letters spelling other letters?
I can't take this. This is like Inception. It's really hard to follow.
Because like W would start with the letter D, but how do you spell the letter D? You'd spell it D-E-E, right? But then that D-E-E, you would spell D-E-E for that D, and then for E, you would have to spell out those E's, and there's two of those, and then you'd have to spell those letters as well, correct?
Man, this is not even like Inception. It's like Tenet, which I flatly didn't get.
That movie sucks.
It was terrible.
Don't tell me that you like that movie.
No one likes that movie.
Anyone who likes that movie, you're just lying to my face.
A great take.
No one understands what that movie is about. You're not smarter than everybody because, ooh, I like Tenet. No one believes that you understood it. It doesn't make you smarter. It makes you a dope.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did anyone like the movie Tenet? That was Christopher Nolan, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was a bit of a surprise.
And he still hasn't apologized for it.
That was a bit of a surprise. Christopher Nolan doesn't make a whole lot of bad movies. And then the universal consensus on that was, yeah, I didn't understand it, don't get it. And then other people didn't watch it because none of their friends understood it.
There's no way Christopher Nolan understands what that movie is about.
No way.
No way.
No way. And also, stop trying to make John David Washington happen.
He works hard.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does Christopher Nolan know what Tenet was about? Billy, you don't seem to be doing very much planting. You seem to be standing in the rain just looking around, trying to figure out how it is to spell W using letters. And I think D is spelled D-E-E. I think it's a Scrabble word. I think a lot of words, a lot of letters, the only place that you would watch them, see them spelled would be in Scrabble.
So D-E-E.
I think you would lose Scrabble if you were spelling letters.
D-E-E, O-W-E, Y-O-U, B-E-E, E-L-E-E-E, hyphen Y-O-U.
I stopped listening.
W.
I can't follow. I straight up
think
cannot.
Your family.
That was a stray.
Are you saying that E is spelled E-E-E? Are you saying
E?
that
How else would you spell E?
E. I'd spell E-E.
Ooh, or you could spell it Y.
You're saying E
I think
is
there's a
3
silent
E's?
H and E.
With Billy.
H, silent H-E-E. E.
I need some air.
Jeremy, show title, spelling letters.
That's already on it.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you know how to spell the letter E? And also put on the poll, would you have imagined that the letter E is spelled E-E-E? Because I don't believe that. That simply it simply cannot be true. I don't believe that the language is so inefficient that the way that you spell E is just hitting someone in the head with 3 E's. Why not 4 E's? Why not 2 E's?
The internet says EE.
It's not true. Why not 3 E's? Why not 4 E's? Why not 5 E's? That's not what P's and Q's are. When you're taking your shirt off and using your body as comedy, you're going.
That's Florida, bro.
You're going maximum Florida, man.
That's Florida.
When did you decide to start doing that? When was it encouraged? When did that become your signature? The idea that you're up there just throwing your body at the people here in a tight pair of jeans, shirtless.
The jeans have gotten tighter the fat I've gotten. They weren't always tight. My daughter said Baby Walrus needs to move out of skinny jeans. I started doing it just to cheer myself up because you get on the road and do like a Thursday night and you'd be like, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. This is gonna be a long weekend. I'm missing my family. It's not sold out. So I would rip my shirt off and kill a beer to make myself giggle because I thought it was silly and to remind myself this should be fun. And then one night I was in Columbus, Ohio. I ripped my shirt off and killed a beer. And then something happened in the room and I forgot to put it back on. And one of the comics I respected was in the back and he was like, bro, you just did a whole hour with your shirt off.
And how does this work with comfort with your body? Because not everyone can do that. You're the first to be doing that. Not everyone is comfortable enough with their size to be in front of thousands of people shirtless like that because it is funny.
It's interesting because I have this reverse body dysmorphia. So like I heard a story, secret time. Obviously I'll tell you, but secret time. I heard a story that Chris Pratt was a fat kid growing up and that someone told me like he'll always be fat in his head. No matter how great of shape he is, he'll always think of himself as a fat kid. I was in shape as a kid, and so I do not see myself fat at all. As a matter of fact, I think in Razzle Dazzle, I look low-key jacked. I think I look better than I've ever looked. My shoulders, dude, look at my shoulders.
You are jacked. Oh, yeah. You got some cuts right there. You see it there?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I feel great about my body.
The new Netflix stand-up special, Razzle Dazzle.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bert, stop making those
Never show
faces.
your belly button.
Yes.
Do that thing where you're,
Let's increase your female viewers.
make your boobs move.
This is a body you can get.
Razzle Dazzle is the stand-up special. How old would you have to be? What is the age if I came up to you and said, Bert, you're not going to believe this, but the new movie, Machine, it's in theaters in May, and Razzle Dazzle, a Netflix special, is happening. At what point in your career, at what age would you have said, yeah, that's a possible dream?
Oh, 50? Where I am. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Listen, I got to be dead honest with you. I shot Razzle Dazzle in November, and I'm used to the Netflix specials, but with the Machine movie, that was sitting on a shelf. They weren't doing anything with it, and they weren't going to release it. And it wasn't until I leaked it on Rogan that it got life. And so ever since it's got life, now it's got real life, and so I didn't think the movie was ever going to come out.
Dan, Bert's got me feeling confident. You know what? I'm going to join you, Bert, taking the shirt off.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I'm going to have to do it, too.
I, too, was ripped when I was younger, Bert.
I have to do it.
Let's all be. Come on, bros.
Oh, man.
I don't really want to do
Round the
this.
horn.
Stu,
you're looking good.
The Mano Lantern.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, my
Dan's
God.
doing it too. Dano! 20 years. Take the top off.
Oh, jeez.
All right. You are allowing us to be more comfortable with our physical appearances.
I have to take off my nipple stickers.
He's a pioneer and an icon.
Oh, look at Dano.
Mr. Nipple.
Perfectly haired.
Sorry, I
everybody.
don't know. It's like a
Cold
routine.
in here.
Yeah,
It's
it
reverse
is
body
cold
dysmorphia.
in here.
It's a reverse
It's a
body
really
dysmorphia
weird
thing.
time for Jessica to come back
Yeah, I
into
was
the room.
Jessica.
Perfectly
Do not walk in here.
Hey, Jess.
You like it, Bert?
Get out.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Why
So
are you
you.
massaging?
Andrew Luck making an appearance there. Bert, I do want to know when you were partying, the top partier at the #1 party school in the country. What did that look like?
You're looking at
Marijuana in the afternoon.
Yeah.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We should point out that Jimmy Kimmel has not been fired. Jimmy Kimmel has been a very good employee for ABC, does a lot of other things other than just his show. And when Mike Ryan suggested there that the internet is saying it would be great if Kimmel appeared on Colbert, and Kimmel would immediately not have a job again if he did that. I would imagine.
Really?
I would imagine that if
Given the circumstances, because like he showed up on the Colbert Show, like supporting Stephen Colbert when that all came down.
Yes, but in this particular instance, because ABC is trying to protect affiliates, protect money, protect against the complaints that are coming from local shows that tend to control what happens in late night, if Jimmy Kimmel were to embarrass Disney, Iger, by doing that on something other than his platform, when he might still be welcome back to his platform, he will be exacerbating things for them. He will not be a good employee. He will not be behaving like a good employee for ABC.
I guess it depends on what he does. He can come out as a sight gag, which often they do when things are hot around these talk show hosts, and they often don't even say things. They're just there for support. I do want to turn people's attention to a statement that Jimmy Kimmel did make in the wake of Charlie Kirk. I know a lot of people are projecting what they think he said there. He certainly referenced it and then played a clip of the president. But this was Jimmy Kimmel's strongest statement, an initial statement after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just one day agree that it is horrible and monstrous to shoot another human? On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence.
Another thing that was weird about this is that he said it Monday. This is Monday. And then it's last night that he's taken off of the air. So whatever they were dealing with behind the scenes was something that is hard for any kind of leadership to deal with. And then when the FCC is weaponized and the chair of the FCC is saying we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way, you find yourself in a space where we're already seeing with ICE something that feels like state militia, feels like state police, and now you creep toward state media. And when I was saying to you before what was in my household growing up, grandparents, uncles, parents, this is what they talked about when they talked about the idea of propaganda as media and where it is that the government starts throwing optical illusions in your face to pretend like you're getting truth and freedom when actually we all know that that's a spectacular amount of bullshit. Chris Wittingham is going to join us. here in a little bit, and we're going to celebrate Ray Hudson with him. And he's had some bad takes. He's anti-Panthers, and then they win the championships. He's anti-Mario Cristobal. He was out on Mario Cristobal after 2 games.
I don't understand. Like, he has an opinion on something, and then he can't, like, admit that he was wrong?
Weird for him.
Weird for media in general. Weird for all of us, I would say. I would say media members in general are stubborn about admitting when they're wrong. Greg Cody's position...
Not all of us. Some of us pride themselves on being able to admit when they're wrong. It's quite liberating.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, I dubbed Paul Maurice the murderer of fun. I've never had more fun than these last 2 years of Paul Maurice as my favorite team's head coach. I love him now. I was dead wrong. Why can't we admit that our opinion was wrong?
I am curious to hear Witty's thoughts on Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes, because his whole thing when Mario first took over was, oh, this caveman offense, it isn't fun. And then in year 3, Mario Cristobal provided Hurricanes fans with only the greatest offense in the history of the program. And it seems as though the offense is pretty fun to watch right now, so I'm very curious to see where he stands.
We've got a lot to get to with Witty. The Champions League is back on Paramount Plus. He's calling the game today at 3 p.m., so he's very busy. But we have some imaging here to celebrate the Ray Hudson goal calls, and I want to get from Witty top 5 South Florida broadcasters of all time, because I'm maintaining there has been no broadcaster that has resonated more ever from South Florida, around South Florida, than Ray Hudson. But let's get the imaging for that, please.
Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson.
Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson call of the day. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson call of the day.
Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson call of the day. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson call of the day. Ray Hudson. 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 Ray Hudson.
This is what Dan wanted. This is what Dan wanted. He wanted a call of the day. He wanted Ray Hudson call of the day. What? Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson.
Ray Hudson call of the day.
Hudson. Hudson.
Ray Hudson call of the day.
Of the day. Hudson.
Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson call of the day. Ray Hudson. Ray Hudson.
Ray Hudson call of the day.
This is what Dan wanted. 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 This is what Dan This is what Dan
Hudson call.
This is what Dan wanted.
Maybe the government should control the media. Can we play the Ray Hudson call of the day in honor of Ray Hudson? We're going to do this every day until the World Cup.
There by Reinders, who is harried. Leao warding off Eder Militao. Oh, come back. It's a Reinders! Massive chance now for Milan to win at the Bernabeu.
Look at where this beautiful goal is constructed from the hands of Mike Magnan. And they absolutely embroider the passing going forward. It's Gatling gun, and then it's Leao's magic again. Wonderful consideration, makes all the right decisions, always smiling, and Real Madrid now crying. It's a fabulous ball by Reinders, but the setup all the way down the pitch from Milan is just magisterial.
Witty, you have called games with Ray Hudson, plural. They have been the awe of your lifetime by your own description. Tell us what it is that you felt when he said he was stepping away.
Yeah, I actually knew probably that it was coming. We had talked about it a fair bit throughout last season. It actually allowed me to cherish it probably even more, especially as we went into that semifinal between Barcelona and Inter, because I felt, honestly, that this was probably it for him. And that was like a real honor for me as a broadcaster to be like, all right, I'm with this guy. He's still throwing 101 on the black. He's still absolutely brilliant in terms of what he does from a broadcasting standpoint, the energy that he brings. And also, he never got jaded. He cared every bit about the game and honoring the game all the way until the very end. So I kind of knew that it was it. And I was kind of hoping all summer, from May when the Champions League ended until now, that he would change his mind and want to go again. But I think he kind of knew that it was going to be the end. And we had kind of said it after that crazy semifinal. And yeah, I mean, for me, I got to do it for a year and a half regularly on the Champions League. And we worked here and there at Inter Miami and on beIN Sports. But as you said, for me, it was sort of the honor of a lifetime. I remember the first time I worked with him, it was a World Cup qualifier. I think it was Brazil against Paraguay. And I was starstruck for half of the game. And it was crazy to kind of call a game that way. But the first time he did the thing, it was like, wow, he did the thing. And he was sitting next to me while doing it. Was incredible.
Second place working with me? Top 5?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say. I mean, with the show in general, probably second. But I think you specifically, I would say it's definitely somewhere, maybe top 10.
Let's do a top 5 list here with Witty. Top 5 broadcasters that South Florida could lay claim to as the best broadcasters in South Florida history. Do you have any OLI, or do you just want to go top 5?
Well, I was kind of hoping, honestly, if we were doing top 5 lists, that it would be my top 5 favorite Ray Hudson lines. But I think, honestly, if we're going OLI,
no, okay, let's do
Brendan Tobin.
Let's do it your way. Let's do it your way.
Okay.
Go ahead. Top 5 Ray Hudson lines, if you prefer to do it that way.
All right, I'm going to try and do this off the top of my head. So I'm going to start first with number 5. You can put a tarantula down his pants and he'd still be cool.
Messi's about to sign an extension with Inter Miami, right? That's been reported and confirmed?
Yeah. Confirmed?
I don't know about confirmed. I mean, I think the club will confirm it eventually.
Yeah, Taylor Twellman joined our show. That's where all the momentum is. It'd be hard to envision any scenario outside of Leo Messi helping open that new stadium for Inter Miami.
Number 4.
Like a vampire attacking a plate of liver.
Number 3.
Off like a teenager on a hot date.
Number 2.
Stretched like spandex on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
At the elbow room. What are we, number 2 or number 1?
That was number 1. I'm running out. I'm trying to think of one now off the top of my head.
Well, you said, see, that's the perils of you. You didn't want to do the top 5 list that I wanted to do. You wanted to do
I wasn't prepped on that. I probably would have thrown in like Hank Goldberg and might have regretted it. I haven't thought about your list either.
All right. Well, good prep. I'm appreciating that you, a preparation freak, has arrived, didn't have any prep for what I asked you about, asked for something else, and then didn't have that either. Let's check.
I was close. I got to 4. 4 was pretty good. It's a top 4 list.
Let's check in with Billy and see how he's doing out there, as we don't want to waste any
He's
more.
about to be produced
of Witty's time. Billy, where are you on the tree planting?
Danny.
Is it harder than you thought it was? Danny, excellent work holding that microphone. Give us a report, Billy, from the tree planting.
I'm digging the second hole because I dug the first hole and they said they're not ready for the hole to be dug, so Rose came and filled it in. So I have to redig that hole so that we can plant the tree. And pardon me if I'm a bit irked, but I have, while I'm digging, I've noticed I have some branches here that are ripe for pruning, but I can't quite find my pruning shears. So, we're getting there. We're almost there. Hey, Witty, how are you?
Hey, Billy.
I'm planting a tree in an undisclosed location, in case you're wondering.
Billy, did you approve this with your HOA?
It's an undisclosed location.
Well, it's an undisclosed location, so As long as no one tells them where I am, we're good. Also, I mean, this Witty coming on here, I knew he was going to retire. How about you tell people, bud? Aren't you a journalist? Aren't you a professional snitch, as Zazzlo likes to call you guys?
Professional snitch? No, I wouldn't call myself a journalist, though, really. I'm more of a broadcaster type.
What are your thoughts on Tua, Witty? I want to get to your flammably bad opinions that you refuse to retract. But the game tonight and Tua in general, your thoughts are what there?
Well, I mean, the game tonight, is there any... I mean, the Dolphins are 12.5-point underdogs, and that's underselling it, in my view. Is there any chance they don't get absolutely destroyed tonight? I feel like I have walked myself into the trap of trying to get excited, of trying to talk myself into, oh, maybe this is the time that the primetime game isn't an unmitigated disaster, and yet it happens every single time. I'm waiting for ACL injuries to happen. I'm waiting for Achilles injuries to happen. I'm waiting for things that calamitously destroy the Miami Dolphins season, because that's what happens every single time they play in a primetime night game. And for me, the thing about Tua is, I mean, beyond the fact that it seems as though the league has figured him out, the thing that's so immensely frustrating is you watch that Monday Night Football game, you watch Baker Mayfield somehow escape on 4th and 10, run for 17 yards, get a first down, and somehow that is not available to the Miami Dolphins. It appears to be available to all of the other 31 teams in the National Football League. It is not available to Tua Tagovailoa to be able to do that. And I think now in modern times, it's so difficult to be able to generate offense, to be able to generate anything without having that threat. And I think that, more than anything, is limiting Tua at this time.
It's fairly obvious at this point that unless the scenario is perfect, he can't make the special plays. He doesn't make special plays. Off script, making things happen unless the play is set up to go exactly the way it was designed, Tua does not make a play.
Great point, Zaz. I've never seen him make chicken salad. I've never seen him improvise, and what a play by Tua. That's not something
it's the opposite. When he's out of the pocket, you go, oh no.
That is an amazing point. Yeah, he's not like the other
one step off schedule.
Yeah,
he's one step off schedule.
He doesn't make things happen.
And you know what's interesting, Zazzlo, for me, the thing that is underrated in all of it, we talk a lot about, obviously, the brain injuries, but I think the hip injury is kind of underrated in all of this. I think physically, I saw the other day this thing on Twitter. I understand why Dolphins fans still believe, because it was a 3-minute montage of things that he did at Bama. And there is a lot of mobility in there. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of things that are off schedule. All the things we're talking about, he did in college. But I think physically, yes, we talk about the brain thing all the time. I think the hip injury has turned him into a completely different player that does not allow him to move in the same way or do the same things. You look at his athleticism, it is incredibly below par, it would appear, relative to the rest of the other quarterbacks in the NFL. And I don't think that was always the case. I think the injuries, even beyond what happened with him, his head hitting the ground multiple times, have affected him irreparably.
The lexicon of football is just so great, because I look at Fancy Lad and I see a woke liberal who just said the brain thing.
Chris Wittingham is a fancy lad.
The brain thing.
That old chestnut.
Oh my God. 94% of the money at DraftKings is coming in on the Bills. 94%. That's crazy.
That's too low.
That's a crazy number.
Well, the number's too low. The number is too low. 12.5's too low.
12.5 is too low
Clearly.
a number.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, for a desperate team that's supposed to be fighting for its head coach on a short week, I don't. I mean, that's a lot of points in the NFL.
Yep. Mike, I know how you bet. You're looking at Dolphins plus 12.5. You see kind of you love a Zag bet, and you love looking at what everyone else is doing and going, well, the NFL, this is the spot. This is the spot where you should take the Dolphins. I just, with all of the experience I have as a fan, cannot bring myself to do it.
Yeah, you're right, Witty. I'm doing no action on this one. Because,
sometimes everyone's right.
Yeah, it happens, and I don't know if this team is just fully cooked. It's too early in the season to see what this line is. I'm staying away, though. I'm not getting in front of a 94%.
Staying away from free money is what you're doing. Stupid.
Well, but football can football. And I know you say sometimes everyone's right, and they did end up being right. The previous spread like this, Ravens over Browns, but the beginning of that game was about what those things look like early, where you're like, oh, of course, football's going to keep it close. It's just this defense against that offense is the biggest mismatch in the entire league. It's the biggest mismatch. I cannot present another mismatch to you anywhere that's as bad as this defense against this offense.
The Dolphins defense hasn't been able to stop anyone this year. You've seen Daniel Jones and Drake May put up numbers without any kind of real weapons around them, put up numbers at will these first two games. And now, on a short week, on the road, Mike McDaniel, whose strength is his offense, and it seems like the rest of the league has been able to, scheme and catch up to his offense. Mike McDaniel is going to now figure out on a short week how to stop the league MVP. Okay.
Billy, you seem to have had a lot of thoughts to some of the things that Wittingham was saying. I don't know what to do with your facial gestures from over here. What were your thoughts?
What if they win? Just toss out all of that stuff that you guys were saying and the logic and all that. What if, and follow me down this path, the Dolphins win today?
That's not possible.
What?
That's not possible.
Why?
It's not possible.
I will say, though, historically, Billy, Mike McDaniel's Miami Dolphins have played the Buffalo Bills tight.
Mm-hmm.
And they always lose to Josh Allen, though. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sometimes Josh Allen runs out of time and he loses track. Just consider this for a moment. What if they win?
Okay, thank you. I will.
You said it twice for a fact.
I will take that under advisement, and I will just say, of all the crazy shit happening in America, that would be the craziest.
Yeah,
I think it would take everything off the headlines.
Stuff. Yeah, that's just facts and logic and which team is better than the other. But think about this for a moment. What if they win?
Witty, are you going to retract any of your bad opinions? Your Mario Cristobal opinion, you were out after 2 games. Are you willing to pull that one back, or are you going to entrench yourself and be stubborn?
You know me, I'm inclined to entrench myself and be stubborn, but I do think that in the overall, Mario Cristobal has delivered on the best possible version of what he can deliver, which is if he gets the incredible resource that he's been backed with now, with his own salary of a coaching staff, and the amount of money that you have to shell out to get a high-level group of players now, he has been backed in that way. And by the way, that is a skill, because I don't think that every coach can walk into every university or every group of boosters and go, here, I need this amount of money, and you'll get it. I imagine previous coaches at the University of Miami have thought, well, I could do with a bit more money. And you don't have the juice in order to pull it off. Cristobal has the juice to be able to pull it off. So that is a huge part of the game. I think he is obviously an unbelievable recruiter, has done it at every stop, and has done it again here. He has assembled a very good team. That being said, the one worry that I've always had from him is I just don't think he's a very good coach, a game day coach that can actually consistently deliver results. You look at last season you have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, you have an incredible offense, and they lost as 13 and 12.5 point favorites against Georgia Tech and Syracuse. And so I am still that big skeptical of what he can do in big games, or even honestly not in big games. Can you go through an ACC schedule unscathed? That might not necessarily be what you need to do now because of how forgiving the playoff format is, but I'm still skeptical that he can consistently deliver results game after game after game, and I just don't think, this is a personal thing, but I would rather all of that effort be backed into someone I believe to be a good coach rather than an elite recruiter who for me is an average to good coach. And so that's my own personal preference, but I think for the University of Miami, for the fans, this is about as well as it could have gone, especially relative to what it's been for 20 years. Dan, I'm sure you have the context to remember, even from a physical standpoint, of what it used to look like in the early 2000s, in the 90s, and in the 80s as well. You have the context of this is what it's supposed to look like when a team is great. And I think even, for example, I have some friends that are like USF fans that are going, God, this team's frustrating to play against. They're so big. They're so strong. And I think the University of Miami has not been that for 22, 23 years. And so the idea that now they are there, that's an incredible thing to aspire to. It's just me personally, I would have preferred it on a different kind of coach, but I'm more than happy to acknowledge that he is doing a very good job.
Let me ask the group this question, though. What do you want most from your college coach? Because in this particular case, he seems to have fixed the defense, at least in part, because he fired the coordinator and replaced him with someone who has them playing more disciplined
Which
defense.
is the same thing you did for the offense, because the offense was dreadful in year 1 and year 2. Found a different guy, and they're way better now.
But if I say to you, you're about to hire a college coach, what skill do you want that college coach to have above all others? Is it he can make quarterbacks play well, he can do what is being done at, say, Georgia Tech, or he gets the best players? He just gets the best players.
Gets the best players. I know you posed this to the group, so I'll let them chime in. But gets the best players, is quick to fix issues, which I think, as Witty highlighted, people were complaining about the offense. He brings in Shannon Dawson. Best offense in the history of the program. People were complaining about the defense, gets 6 new players for that secondary, changes the defensive coordinator. I think Mario Cristobal has been very good about fixing the problems that message boards complain about. And it's funny that you mentioned like people that are smart about quarterback play. Because of what we project onto offensive lines, Mario Cristobal is not allowed to be a genius about offensive line play. He's forever a caveman. He and Alex Mirabal can't be geniuses. You have to be Lincoln Riley to be a genius, even though everything...
Geniuses look a certain way.
The straw that serves the drink,
Good
even
point.
for quarterbacks, is an offensive line. He has shown you through 4 years here, and what he did at Oregon is if you get the trenches right, it opens everything else up, and you can go from a 5th-round draft pick to number 1 overall.
No, you're right about that. In the history of this market, like Tony Sparano is the only guy who rose from offensive line guru.
And think of how we thought of him.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. But, I mean, we did not think of him as this offensive genius. We thought of him as the guy who enjoyed kicking field goals.
I don't think you can
Like,
do.
that's
I don't think you
generally
can
what
do
it is.
what you just did there, where posthumously 10 years later you kill Tony Sparano again, and then say God rest his soul.
I mean, I didn't kill him.
Billy should bury a football in that spare hole that he's got.
Is he doing yard work now? Just like doing upkeep.
Now, guys, look, I prefer to have the schematic coach advantage because when my school won a national championship, that was how it happened. It wasn't about having the highest recruited players.
Hold on a
It
second.
was out
We're not
scheming your
glossing
opponent.
over that, all right? Your school winning a national championship.
In 2017.
I mean, have some shame.
They won a national championship, the only undefeated champion in the country.
Shame.
Look, sorry, just because Santa Fe didn't win a national championship doesn't mean you have to be salty about it.
You know what? It may be insulting to someone who went to Santa Fe to talk like that. I might have gone to Santa Fe just for this week.
That's right. You want those tickets. You definitely went to Santa
Mike's
Fe.
bringing me in the 72 club. They have all you can drink.
Wittingham, are you worried that you're wasting your voice? You've got Champions League today, Paramount Plus, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I have found you to be a bit of a hypochondriac when it comes to your voice.
Yeah, honestly, well, I've had a busy week. I had 2 games on Saturday. I had a game on Tuesday night. I had a game last night. And this is my 5th game now in 6 days. So I am worried. I have been on a 3 or 4 throat coat tea a day regimen for the last week. I'm making sure that it's still working. But no, I'm not worried that this interview is going to be the thing that sends me over the line. I'm worried that it was about the 17 goals that I've called in the last 5 days that's really going to harm me. But I think I'm going to make it over the line. I think I'm going to make it. Got a really busy run of games. But yeah, Champions League today, Manchester City and Napoli from 3 p.m., and yeah, I'm really excited for it. I've actually got a cool one next week, too. Next Wednesday, I'm on the Inter-Miami game. First time I've done Inter-Miami
at 3
in the Messi
p.m.,
era.
not from 3 p.m.
From 3 p.m. Coverage from 3 p.m.
First Messi
At
game.
3 p.m.
That's crazy.
Yeah. For Apple TV.
Chris Wittingham is a fancy lad.
I mean, come on. From 3 p.m.? Like, what are you doing?
We're supposed to be here at from 9:40.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Someone sent me the Zoom link from 9:43, so...
Same Zoom link for 7 years.
No, it's from 3 p.m. to 5 o'clock. That's when you say from.
On the weekend.
On the weekend, at halftime.
Hate this guy.
Where does losing your voice rank in terms of your worst nightmares?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. I had a game last year in Serie A where I had to power. It was about 15 minutes in where my voice kind of settled in and I was able to get through it. But yeah, I was definitely for Fowler the other night on Monday Night Football, that is definitely the thing that I wake up in a cold sweat thinking about having to grind through 3 hours. And especially because everyone's going to be going, oh, this guy sounds terrible. How bad? What happened? Is he okay? Is he dying? And that for me is the absolute worst thing that can happen. It's why, like, honestly, if someone wanted to come up to me right now and chop my arm off, I would prefer that to getting a common cold. Being run over by a bus is worse for me.
Billy's
than
holding
the
a machete.
sniffles.
Yeah, Billy's ready.
Careful with that thing, Jesus.
That is not reasonable, Witty. You take that back, Witty. That's an asinine thing to say.
If someone came up to me right now and chopped my arm off, I could still call Man City Napoli at 3 p.m. on Paramount+.
Probably not.
I would be fine. You don't think
doubt
so?
that. No,
Rub
you
some
have
dirt
to
on it.
You have the end of the
From
segment.
3 p.m.
From the end of the segment to take this take back.
No, I'm sticking with it. I'm stubborn about my takes, and I'm saying I'm good with my arm being
Witty,
chopped
though,
off.
I'm telling
I'll
you,
be
though,
fine.
when I watch a broadcast and I can tell that the guy is sick, I don't look negatively at that. I'm like, this guy came to work today.
I do.
This guy's fighting through.
Oh, I do.
Like, I heard Fowler the other night, and I was like, he's a little sick. I like to call it out, too, to everyone in
You
the
know
room.
what I
You
say
guys
under
hear
my breath?
it? You
know what I
he's
say
sick.
under my breath
What do
since
you say?
2020? You know what? You want to take a guess what I say since 2020 when an announcer sounds like that? You don't want to know.
I do want to know.
I kinda do.
You said you asked me if I wanted to know. I do want to know, and then you tell me you don't want to know.
I know it's not a thing anymore, but I say COVID. I'm like, he has COVID.
Whittingham, you don't want to take that back. You'd rather have your arm.
Yeah.
You're the only human being on earth who would say, "I'd rather have my arm chopped off than get a cold."
That's correct. That's correct. My arms. What do I need my arms for?
I feel like Mike
I need the pipes to be working.
Tirico would
That's
agree.
the most important
There
thing.
is no way you stop the bleeding and do all that is necessary after your arm gets chopped off to be ready for Champions League. And, by the way, everyone would understand if you missed that.
You know how many pain meds you would need after that?
Mm-hmm.
But I can still grind it out. You get the Vicodin and the Percocet, whatever you need, and I can still grind out a broadcast
I
with
will
one
say,
arm.
I won't accuse you of having COVID if that happens.
Right, because my arm will have been chopped off. But I'm telling you, it's the worst thing that can happen. And especially, honestly, the worst part is not actually doing the work with your voice. It's the 48 hours before when you know, oh shit. I need to get the tea going. I need NyQuil going. I need DayQuil going. I need cough drops and enough tea to provide water for a small village. That's what you need. So that for me is honestly the worst part, is knowing that, and also not talking to anyone. You don't talk to anyone for the 48 hours before, because it's all about preserving the voice for the 2 or the 3 hours.
Is it worse than abandoning the Panthers and then they win 2 Stanley Cups?
No, it's definitely not worse than that.
It's not worse.
Honestly, I don't really miss hockey very much.
Oh, stop it.
Stop
I'm done
lying.
with them. All right, we can get
It's
him
out
of
of my life, and now I have time to do other things.
Yeah,
It's
let's
great.
take things that bring tremendous joy out of our life. I'm better off.
Yeah. I get my time back. The gift of time. Zazzlo, we have a finite amount of time on this earth, and the less of it spending watching Paul Maurice.
The less of it spending being happy?
No, watching Paul Maurice's teams play hockey. I mean, what a waste of time it is to watch his teams and the way that they play hockey go game after game after game, never completing 3 consecutive passes together, dumping the puck in, going and chasing the ball by the puck by the boards, and trying to send it into the high slot for a high chance, and no thanks. No thanks. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's so bad to watch.
The show was so much better when he was the woke liberal broadcaster on it.
And won the 2 Stanley Cups. God damn it!
Yeah, Roy's furious.
It's so boring. It's terrible.
I believe put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, Juju. Should your hockey opinion be disqualified if you refer to the puck as ball?
my description, honestly, I'm surprised when I did 90 seconds on Tua that I wasn't like talking about his passes as through balls or something like that. Every single sport that I talk about now is through the context and lexicon of soccer.
Mike Ryan wants to talk soccer with you, and I want to talk pet peeves because I miss your pet peeves on the show. So which would you prefer? We only have time for one question. Would you prefer a soccer question from Mike Ryan, or would you prefer a pet peeve question from me?
Oh, but that's like pitting the two of you against each other. I'll try and give quick answers on both. Let's start with soccer.
There's no way Lamine Yamal, the teenage genius of Barcelona, comes out any kind of normal, right?
Well, the thing is he was on his way. He was on his way to kind of being normal. He was performing well. But then, honestly, you know what scared me the most? When he came out and said that his idol at Barcelona was not Messi, it was Neymar. And I thought, oh no. That is not someone that you want to be patterning your professional behavior after, because this is not a consummate professional. And then there was a story with him losing his passport, and then and this is for me one of the vagaries of language barriers. His injury that he is currently out with, I think it's a groin injury, but it got reported as an injury in the pubic area, which makes it sound like a completely different thing. And so, yeah, I'm a bit worried. I still think he's amazing. I still think he's going to have a great career, but I'm a little bit more worried than I was at the beginning, Mike.
He's a professional liar. Didn't answer it quickly. Don't have time for pet peeves. See you later, Wittingham. Yeah, I mean, you just can't help but yammer.
Too wordy.
Oh, that was like a 37-second answer. I thought that was appropriate.
Notice our audience isn't
Chris Wittingham is a fancy lad.
We're out of time. It's nice seeing you again. Check him out, Champions League, back on Paramount Plus, 3 p.m. From 3 p.m. today. He's an asshole. From 3 p.m. and at all times.
Get out of here.
See you later, Wittingham.
Two Stanley Cups.
We'll talk to you soon. I hope.
Kate, Thierry, Jamie, and Micah with the show at halftime if you want to watch.
Pablo Torre is going to join us here in a few minutes.
Halftime.
Billy is wearing a cowboy hat. We're going to check in with him. We're going to get to hear from our resident gearhead in a second as well. Billy,
the hockey show.
Billy, where are you with things right now? Who the hell?
Thank you, Rose.
What is Rose doing? Who
that was Rose promoting the hockey show every Friday.
Yeah, but where did she come from? I don't see Rose. I mean,
An undisclosed location.
Okay, Billy, what kind of updates do you have from the undisclosed location?
Hey, Dan, we're ready for roots in the ground, as they say over here. So moving pretty quick.
All right.
Pretty quick. Saving this planet.
All right, good. I wait to do this with
Cooper
Pablo.
Manning hat?
No, it's smaller than the Cooper Manning hat, but he is doing this in style, and we will plant a tree with Pablo Torre in a moment. But we got to do Gearhead here, Mike Ryan. Go find the Gearhead. Oh wow, you had it right in your hand. All right, that's good. You're always ready.
I got a heads up.
You're always ready. You're always ready for Gearhead. Give us a Gearhead update.
We chopped off 4 from the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Now we are in the final 12. Out is Shane Van Gisbergen and the Dynamo when it comes to the road courses, so people don't have to worry about a perceived one-trick pony winning the biggest trophy in the sport. NASCAR makes its playoff return to New Hampshire, first race of its kind since 2017 there. Can be a random track, so expect big-time playoff implications. Christopher Bell won at Bristol Motor Speedway. That happened Saturday night. It seems as though this is going to be a highly contested Cup Series. Joey Logano on that cut line has to make something happen if he wants to get a 4th championship and defend his crown.
Is there a read that you have to do to support your Gearhead segment?
Gearhead is presented by NASCAR. For all the latest insights and storylines, to find out when and where to watch, visit NASCAR.com. Thank you for that, Dano.
Chris Cody, do me the favor, please. Zazzlo wants to publicly accuse Colin Cowherd of something. Let's play the sound of Colin Cowherd and what he had to say.
Hall of Fame. But I was thinking this morning that if you combined it like basketball, and it was just, there was a football Hall of Fame, you could count college and pro. I would make an argument today, the greatest coach in the history of football is not Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh or Vince Lombardi. It's Jim Harbaugh, the greatest coach ever.
I've heard that recently.
I'll be damned. I said that on Monday, and that thought came from this brain and this heart. And then the next day, the very next day, Colin Cowherd says the same thing. Now, maybe I'm a little bit at fault here for not saying something and then following it with copyright. Maybe that's a little bit on me, but I did not expect the very next. Can you at least wait a week? The very next day, we're saying the exact same thing that I did about Harbaugh?
He flew by you, too. You said all-time great. He's like the greatest coach. So
I don't like it.
He said all-time great, Zazzlo did, and Colin Cowherd did go just right past Belichick, but I thought he was going to say Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he's won in both places.
Yeah, believe me, if I would have said Pete Carroll, he'd have said Pete Carroll.
Cocktails up until about 2 a.m, then back to my place. Goat Campbell around 3 a.m. Joint set on the Seminole Head.
I love you.
And not a lot of sex, just dudes.
The best 6.5 years of your life, Bert.
How much public nudity was there?
An aggressive amount. This is back before that was considered assault.
You can't do that. You shouldn't be. Publicly nude is probably a bad idea, but this was a different time.
I'm feeling assaulted right now in this room.
I took a dump on a pizza box to win an election. Like I was totally naked. Like this is back when that was called provoking.
That is a great sentence. I took a dump on a pizza box to win an election.
By a landslide. I won by a landslide.
I mean, that was Trump's platform.
What can you tell me about being moved, performing in front of so many people? Because the crowds now where you gather are enormous. They surprise me even as funny as you are.
I'm telling you, I had a real moment in Boston. I had a real moment in Tampa at Amalie, but I had a real moment in Boston when I walked in, and there's this old guy that's been working at the Garden forever, and I walk into my underwear, and he goes, "You sold it to the ceiling, kid. You sold it to the ceiling." And then I got a standing ovation, and I started crying. I was like, boom! It caught me off guard. Same thing happened in Tampa. Same thing happened in Orlando. I never expected any of this, man. At 44, I was fired from Travel Channel. My wife wanted to get a vasectomy. We were tearing down our house to rebuild it. I was nowhere. I got kicked off Funny or Die tour. I was making $2,000 a week on Funny or Die. Tom was making $20,000 a night, and I was like, that's my life. I got to accept it.
Talking Sunset Gears with comedian Rob Delaney.
I really am thrilled to be doing this, Rob, because I admire your work a great deal, and it's rare that I find somebody from afar that I've been wanting to talk to because their story seems somehow something even more admirable to me. Now, you might not view it this way. I don't know how much nobility you think there is in your story, but in watching the art that you've made and watching the life that you've chosen, it's sort of been a pleasure to watch your work grow and to see, the things that you are choosing late in life to do artistically.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that I am late in my life. There's a refreshing honesty to that. I am 45, so I'm well more than halfway.
45 is
there.
late in life.
I mean, I do think about it though sometimes. Though, like I'm definitely more than halfway done, and that's fun.
He dropped another Pablo at 5 o'clock this morning. We'll get some of the details in a moment. One of my favorite moments at ESPN, I'm going to have to make a top 5 list at some point of my favorite moments at ESPN, but one of my favorites was Pablo Torre dressed as an orca listening to Jesse Ventura as he talked conspiracy theories. And now Pablo has joined us, which I believe is one of the laziest costumes I've ever seen. He's supposed to be a mummy to pay for his punishment of losing last week, and all he's done is wrap himself in toilet paper. Like, this is
I see the mummy in it.
That's the punishment. I like it.
I mean, okay, but
Got
he did
another way to wrap yourself up.
How else is this supposed to be
the whole body,
improved?
the whole body. It's supposed to, if you're going to be a mummy, it's supposed to be the whole body.
Theater of the mind, Dano.
And it's supposed to be, a wrap that's not toilet paper. It's supposed to be like ace bandages.
You got 2 bucket punishments today, Dan. Be grateful.
When you were a kid and you wrapped yourself like a mummy, we always used toilet paper.
Historically so.
Thank you, Zaz.
So Pablo,
Print media, Dan. I thought you were a fan of print media.
he dropped another Pablo at 5 a.m. He is now at this point harassing the Clippers PR department at 2 o'clock in the morning. They cannot sleep because of what they have to wait for him to drop. So what
I feel bad. Can I just say, I feel bad for the Clippers PR department.
Leave it there. Yes, go ahead.
I feel bad for the Clippers. If I can apologize to the Clippers communications department, we send them detailed questions.
You can clear your face.
We send them detailed questions the night before. They're the first ones to know what we're reporting. And it's just not an easy job. I mean that very sincerely, actually. It's just like not an easy job they have. I don't think they have all the information. And they are out here trying to do their best. And it's just, I feel genuinely bad as someone who interacts with PR people.
Yo, can you come up with a new strategy for that toilet paper? You keep doing the same thing and it keeps falling right in front of your face.
Now it's too much toilet paper. Not enough toilet paper. Now it's too much toilet paper.
Do something different.
He's right. You keep just like moving it up, it falls down.
I got a bunch of questions, okay?
Is one of them, is it 2-ply?
This is the, I don't know if there's half ply, but this feels like what that is. This is
it's cheap toilet paper on top of that. It's not, that is toilet paper that does not look like it would be comfortable to use.
There you go. No, we're good now.
Let's talk about what it is that you reported this morning. But before we do that, let's check in with Billy Gill, who is presently doing something that Kawhi Leonard reportedly never did. He is planting a tree in order to save the earth. He is using both hands. Can we get a microphone out to him so that Billy can give us an update? Look, this seems like it's almost complete, Billy.
Yeah, roots in the ground, Dan, as they say in the planning community. We're pretty good here. I just got to kind of fill this in, and then I got to attach the Velcro straps to make sure this thing grows straight. But this little guy here is going to live a long, healthy life, I think. Hey, Pablo, it's Billy.
That's a cool hat, Billy. It's a cool hat.
Thank you. It's a Wrangler. Rose's grandfather gave her $100, and she spent it on a cowboy hat, and she brought it for me to wear today.
It's the American dream, as far as I can tell.
Crushing it, Danny.
Good work.
I believe he's from Guatemala, so maybe his American Guatemalan dream.
The Guatemalan dream is also worthy of our consideration. In the power ranking of dreams, the Guatemalan dream doesn't get enough credit.
Pablo and
I'd like to
Zazzlo-
clear this up. Excuse me, just a moment. I'd like to, for the record, say I am not saying Guatemalan dreams are lesser than American dreams.
Pretty
as
sure
Pablo
that's what
is
I heard.
implying by
That's
his
what
comments.
I heard.
How about you zip it up, since you just said an idea came from your heart, which is impossible.
You don't know what's possible or not possible inside this body.
This soda drinker's body. Pablo, what did you report this morning?
I got Roy to be the lawyer in a courtroom reenactment of an exclusively obtained deposition transcript in which Joe Sandberg, the man who has pled guilty to wire fraud in the aspiration case, the man who has allegedly defrauded Steve Ballmer, was asked questions about Steve Ballmer. We had you, Dan, play Joe Sandberg. We had Roy play the lawyer for Joe Sandberg. And I don't think that's the biggest story in our story. It's just my favorite part that Roy is in the episode.
Well, how about
in a real
the biggest part of the story for people who are not quite interested in
yeah.
Roy's acting role in this particular episode?
Don't look at me.
Roy crushed it. Yeah, there it is. Steve Ballmer invested $118 million in 18 months into aspiration, him alongside the Clippers, alongside Team Ballmer, let's just call it. Dennis Wong, previously established co-owner of the Clippers. Steve Ballmer's college roommate, the CFO of the Clippers. We have documentation from him in which it is clear that he signed off on the pre-purchase of $21 million in carbon credits, as Mark Cuban had hypothesized, actually. A lot of this episode is admittedly about what Mark Cuban said would have happened if Steve Ballmer was absolutely guilty of cap circumvention. And then I just spent my life proving that actually he did the things that Mark Cuban hypothesized. So yeah, a lot of carbon credit purchases 2 weeks before, in fact, they were due yet another Kawhi Leonard payment. So, just a lot of that.
Zaz, why are you and Chris Cody laughing right now?
I don't know. I'm a little embarrassed right now. I mean, am I the only idiot that doesn't know what a carbon credit is?
You're watching it in the bottom right corner of your screen. Billy is creating a carbon credit. A carbon credit. That's a great question.
So it's meaningless.
Well, allegedly, a carbon credit, like everything in the world, I mean, trees, you, me, like we have carbon in us. Our activities emit carbon. And so what you do is you create something, you plant a tree whose very existence, of course, as a recycler of air can actually take carbon out, right? That's what trees do. They put out oxygen, they take in carbon. And so a carbon credit is literally the planting of a tree, would be the very 5-second messy summary of a, frankly, now increasingly scrutinized business that was at the core of aspiration in this episode and Steve Ballmer's alleged circumvention of the NBA salary cap.
Am I going to have to fire the Reaper for coming in here without a mask? Like, am I going to have to discipline
Peter of the Mind, man. That was not on.
Nothing was on
Not
video.
there, and also was wearing a mask.
I don't think that the Reaper
Was wearing a mask just
can
because you
appear
saw the Reaper's
anywhere.
hair.
I saw who the Reaper was.
Stop ruining everything.
Not everyone
Perhaps.
knows
Maybe
who the Reaper is.
take some ownership of what you just did. It wasn't on camera. We were trying to move the show along.
Pablo, what would you tell people like Zazzlo and Billy who are alleging that the league's not going to do anything, that Silver's not going to actually punish the Clippers?
Yeah, I'm going to say this in the current form that I currently exist in, which is probably a miscalculation by me, because I think this question hinges on whether the NBA takes this reporting seriously. And I mean that. This is a story that has, frankly, astounded me in terms of just the interest from people. If you were to think about just the stories that I've looked into, I didn't expect this one to be as big, and I don't think the NBA did either, frankly. And so I say all of that to say that the NBA is a wildly reactive organization. Keep in mind the salary cap, CBA circumvention, the rules are not real laws. They are things adjudicated by the commissioner. And so the question the commissioner is going to ask himself is, how small can I make this problem before it becomes a problem for us? And every episode, this is the 4th episode we've done, in an ongoing investigative series, just indicates that the scope of this is genuinely unprecedented in terms of how elaborate it is, in terms of the implications for what people should have known but did not act upon, allegedly. And so the question of how could the NBA escape this? Frankly, it depends upon how much people care about the story. Because the journalism, I just can't stress this enough, despite what I am currently doing with you at this moment. The journalism could not be more serious in terms of how real the paperwork is. Documentation is the story of investigative journalism, and we have the documentation. When you don't have the documentation in the absence of, for instance, the note that says, I circumvented the cap, signed Steve with a heart emoji, you got to go to human sources, primary sources. I've given now an seemingly ongoing parade also of that. People who went on tape, people who are now signed, the CFO of the company, former CFO, the chief legal officer, the CTO, they're now on the record disputing the idea that Andre Cherney, the co-founder of Joe Sandberg of Aspiration, what he said, which is that this was not a no-show deal, that this was something that he doesn't remember the salary cap being involved in. Those three guys have co-signed their reporting. So, I think it's just a matter of, are you a serious person? Are you a serious league? Even though you're being questioned by a person who is wrapped in half-ply toilet paper.
I think Adam Silver has given off the impression, which is not, it's not just an impression, it's a fact, that he works for the owners, right? He works at the pleasure of the owners. And if Mark Cuban is defending Steve Ballmer the way he is, even with all the, evidence, the reporting in front of him, and he's not even an owner anymore. Like, what makes you believe that the other active owners don't feel the same way?
Well, he's a 27. He corrected me on this when I first interviewed him. He's a 27% owner of the Mavs, Sass. He's a minority owner of the Mavs still. But you're right. The question was last week when Adam Silver goes in front of the Board of Governors in New York City at the St. Regis Hotel on Wednesday, with Tuesday committees happening before that, in which Steve Ballmer, by the way, is the chair of the audit committee. The chair of the audit committee of NBA owners is the man under this investigation. And so the question of, like, how do the other owners feel? I can tell you, I've spoken to 4 who think that it's absurd that this is something that the NBA plans potentially on not punishing proportionate to the evidence. And it's about the evidence. It's not about me. It's about the evidence I have surfaced. And Dan, by the way, Dan added to the reporting on this in the episode in terms of an owner who said before that meeting and during that meeting, Steve Ballmer gave us the sob story. And I should be clear, the sob story can coexist with the scam story. I keep on saying this. Two things can be true. You can be defrauded by the person you partnered with to deceive the NBA. That's why this is so cinematic. There is pain. There is suffering for Steve Ballmer. There's also the most unprecedented scheme, according to my reporting, in the history of salary cap convention.
Pablo, does there have to be punishment laid down on the Clippers and Steve Ballmer for all of this to make you feel like your reporting is validated?
I don't think it's about, frankly, not to sound like a politician, I think it's about the audience. It's about the fan base. It's about the presumption that when you watch sports, fair play as codified in the rules they call cardinal rules, that those things are being enforced. Like Adam Silver, in every statement he's given, and I've listened to all of them, talks about how he is a steward of integrity, not just brand integrity, but competitive integrity. I think the question I would have as somebody who cares about the sport, as a caretaker of the sport, is, does this undermine the legitimacy of our game from a purely, what does this look like to everyone who wants to care about it, invest money in it, compete in it, buy teams in it? And then, Zaz, you get all the other stuff, right? And the other stuff involves, by the way, yes, the economics of the league. So people may not realize this, but cap circumvention is really meaningful to these owners I've been speaking to, not simply because it is a rule that they are trying not to break in this way, that now, according to my reporting, Steve Ballmer has broken in this fantastical, over-the-top way. The thing they care about is also the valuations of teams. So the economics of an NBA team, it's really premised on how much do you spend, and therefore how much should this asset be valued. What Steve Ballmer, the richest owner in all of sports, one of the 10 richest people in the world, is proving that he's proving that he's spending so much more. Again, $118 million in 18 months on aspiration, with the timeline corroborating the payments of this crazy Kawhi Leonard $48 million deal. That's where it becomes, wait a minute, so maybe these things aren't exactly the streamlined financial instruments that the NBA would otherwise like them to be.
Billy, you have your hand raised. What would you like to ask Pablo?
I have two questions. One, in terms of like the story, what was the other $70 million for? So if it was funneled for Kawhi's 48, what was the other 70 for?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So the thing that people need to understand as we go through this is that Steve Ballmer invests money into Aspiration. Aspiration spends all of it virtually immediately. And this is an enormous part of following the money, and the sources that I spoke to provided documentation. And as well, by the way, as the documented financial filings, disclosure forms that all prove that everybody else saw what was happening, seemingly except for Steve Ballmer. As in, Aspiration got tons of money, $300 million in the fall of 2021, $50 million from Steve Ballmer, to Billy's question, in the fall of 2021. What happens after they get that money? They spend all of it before Kawhi Leonard's first payment in June of 2022 is due. And so the cycle here is Steve Ballmer puts in money, Aspiration asks for more money, right when Kawhi Leonard must be paid. And so when I speak to the alleged defrauding of Steve Ballmer, this is how it can coexist, is that he was kind of trapped according to the sequence of events and according to what the timeline might suggest in this relationship in which he knew he had to support a company that was guarding the most embarrassing secret that he had. And so they had leverage, according to the reporting, over him in that regard. Although, of course, the degree to which he knew and when he knew remains, frankly, a crucially important topic for my investigation and the government's.
Billy, hand raised, second question.
Yeah, can you explain carbon credits to me? And are they similar to NFTs or crypto? Like, how does this work?
Already asked
and how
that
do
question.
I sell them? Yeah.
You just made a carbon credit, Billy. You just made it.
Yeah, but what is it worth?
Well, it's worth, so typically, right, what you just did, people in the open market of carbon credits, they pay 5 to 10 cents for that, what you just did. Aspiration.
Take me 3 hours.
I know. Aspiration was charging $1. Like, that's the margin of, like, the carbon credits business. But your point, by the way, like, what the CFTC is looking into, the federal agency that they regulate commodities, is whether a carbon credit is actually just a commodity, not unlike a stock. To your question, is like, what is this? An NFT? Is it a financial instrument?
Mm-hmm.
This is an active debate in government. Like, should we regulate these things like they are stocks? Because what they really are, according to all of the reporting I've done, they're a lot like widgets, right? They don't actually exist. It's the action of you planting that tree.
This tree is real.
Well,
no, this tree exists. I can confirm that.
That's a lot more than.
How do I make money off of this? Is what I'm asking you. Like, crypto's at like 100,000. How much is this carbon credit going to get me?
Seems like we're not paying very well, Metal Arc Media, if he's been working for 3 hours and we're going to give him 10 cents. That seems
that's just the market rate.
Below minimum wage here. I've got a bunch of questions.
Like our internship.
And we don't have a lot of time left. So I would be flabbergasted and stunned, given the evidence that Pablo is providing, if the penalty wasn't hugely stiff, because you saw what happened with Deflategate. It's not as egregious as this. Whatever the hell it was isn't as egregious as this. Like the idea that you would have these rules and circumvent them this flagrantly, Zazzlo? Like this flagrantly, I just don't see a circumstance under which the penalty isn't enormous.
I'm totally with everything that Pablo is saying, that you just said as well. I just don't have any faith in Adam Silver laying down the hammer. I mean, Pablo, he got up in front of everybody the other day and said he's never heard of Aspiration. That wasn't taken out of context, came right out of his mouth. And then a couple of days ago, he tells everybody, oh, no, I meant I never heard of the scandal. It's bullshit.
Look, the thing that we have in the episode as well is that, to Zaz's point. So Adam Silver, without any ambiguity, says, frankly, I've never heard of Aspiration in any way. There's really no wiggle room around like the clarity of what he says. He says he's never seen anything related to an engagement with the Clippers. He says that as well, or Kawhi Leonard. And then I get the contract, the actual contract for the $300 million founding sponsorship deal that the Clippers signed with Aspiration. And it says right there in the writing of it that these deals must be expressly approved and submitted to the NBA. And so in front of a stage earlier this week, Dan Roberts at Front Office Sports asks Adam Silver about this thing I had just tweeted out. And then you get this statement, which if you go and watch the video, it does not, I think, fit into a plausible interpretation of what he had said before. So the question then is, why did Adam Silver say the first thing when he said it? why wasn't he actually aligned with what he says the second time? These are important questions speaking to the credibility of how a league is governed, let alone the fact, by the way, that this whole company was seemingly vetted by apparently no one, including, and I want to make this point again, and it's a serious one to some extent. The reason why fraudsters keep on using sports is because they expect that if you're up in the signage of an arena, if you're a founding sponsor, if you have the naming rights deal of a building, it means that sports, which is so flush with cash and lawyers and respectability, it must be true that sports has vetted you, and therefore you can trust them. We see this over and over and over again. You saw it with FTX in Miami. We see it now again with Aspiration. You saw it with Enron in Houston. It happens for a reason. And the question that the leagues now have to be asking themselves is, when do we actually fulfill the terms, the implicit terms of this trust that America has given us? Because right now it's a one-way transaction and a lot of people are getting scammed.
A lot of people are searching for what Pablo has on this story. I would also say to everybody listening to this, if you want to check out what Pablo has done with Semaphore or Ethan Strauss, you could get more explanations for what Pablo is trying to do in general with Pablo Torre Finds Out, selling old media basically to the internet and young people on the internet. One of the funny things about this story is the idea of people who can buy everything but can't get what it is that they want. The idea that Steve Ballmer couldn't get Kawhi Leonard to do the things that he needed Kawhi Leonard to do. Can you explain to me how much money Ballmer has more than the other owners, Pablo?
He could buy out everyone else. He's the richest owner in all of sports, and it's not close. He has $150 billion. He is the boogeyman when it comes to any contest in which money is the weapon. And what Steve Ballmer has done is, I think, live out this, frankly, this parable about sports, in which sports has more than ever the richest people in the world interested. For reasons, by the way, that I just alluded to, but also because of sincere fandom. Steve Ballmer is a hardcore basketball fan. I interviewed him once when I was doing a story about Harvard basketball, and he told me about, and this was, of course, many moons ago now, he told me about how he was a scorekeeper, charting assists and rebounds. Like, that's the kind of hardcore basketball sicko he is. He's cared about youth teams. He's coached youth basketball. And so the question is, when you have everything, you have all of the money in the world, but the thing you want the most is something that, because sports is governed by fair play and rules, you cannot simply buy, right? It's one of the few places left in civilization where you can't just buy the thing you want. You have to earn it. You got to win it in a fair competition. The only thing resembling meritocracy we have left, frankly. Steve Ballmer cannot do that because in the NBA, there's a bleeping salary cap. And even when you circumvent the salary cap, you might end up with the one superstar who looks like Michael Jordan when he's healthy, but every other time you play with him or try to get him to play, he's a guy who seems to be rebelling against your mission specifically. It is maddening. It is infuriating. And it's also why this story is, to me, like one of the great parables of wealth in America through the lens of sports.
Thank you, Pablo, for your reporting and your work. It is tireless. It is exhaustive. Pablo Torre Finds Out is where you go. You mentioned, Pablo, that, the words infuriated and everything else. And I'm looking at the Reaper again. And the Reaper looks pissed off with everyone here for keeping him waiting. So thank you, Pablo. We will talk to you later. Appreciate the reporting. Billy is also seems to be done there. Is the Reaper indeed ready? Is the Reaper ready to go?
Reaper seems very annoyed.
Yeah,
with us.
The Reaper is annoyed, and I think he's annoyed because of how shitty Pablo's costume is.
Oh, come on! Can I get? It's the blame the Tennessee Titans.
Pablo, you did great.
Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the money, Dan.
You should be thanking everyone here, including Billy, who's working for 10 cents for 3 hours because it's everybody's money that you're spending. The Den Tech Bucket.
Oh, Dano.
We're ready to go. Put your mouthpieces in.
The bucket is presented by Dentech's Ultimate Fantasy Football Punishment. Learn more and sign up your league at dentech.com.
Finally, punishment's being paid around here.
I got the Baltimore Ravens.
Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions, Jeremy.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
4.5 point favorite.
No, I'm putting it back.
Putting back a 4.5.
What?
I am.
I'm scared of it. I think the Lions are too good.
4.5 point favorite. You may not do better than
What
that.
are you doing?
I got the Rams.
Congratulations. You swapped them for
Plus 3.5
Going to
at
Philadelphia.
Eagles.
That's fine.
Going to the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts stinks.
You lost 8 points in that transaction.
It was a mistake.
Mike Ryan, what
I
do you
lost
have there?
last week. I got to pay something off next week. LA Chargers. We got the Broncos. 3.5 point favorite. I'm going to keep it.
He's keeping it.
You're not going to do a lot better than a 3 or 4 point favorite. Maybe you can get Buffalo tonight, but there aren't. The biggest spread other than Buffalo is 7.5 Green Bay at Cleveland.
And also Seattle at home against New Orleans.
Carolina.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Roy.
Not
You
having
gotta put
it.
that back.
No,
Carolina's
no,
at
no.
home, 5.5 point dog against Atlanta.
Oh, shit. I got Def and Fine Bucket. All right, that's great, but nobody's been paying fine. No, that's
Automatic
no
death.
money.
So just death for you.
All right, good job.
I hate this game.
We'll get you some money.
You lose at the bucket, but you get
You can have
$0.
Billy's 10 cents.
I got the Bengals.
Now you got Jake Browning against who's the backup in Minnesota?
At Minnesota.
Taylor.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
No, Taylor's the Jets. What are you doing with Tyrod Taylor? He's
I'm
the
going to
Jets backup.
put that back.
3.5 point dog. You're putting it back.
A good guess, though, Zaz.
I don't know how I
You
feel
just
about that
always
game.
guess that Tyrod Taylor is the backup.
At Washington, plus 3.5. I have the Raiders.
You put back a 3.5 to get a 3.5.
All right, Zazzlo or Dan, who's going here?
But there's a chance that Jaden Daniels is held out of that game. That's the
Marcus
rumor in
Mariota.
England.
the Jaguars. The Jags, don't trust them at all. They're at home, 2.5 point favorite against Houston.
No, I got to put it back.
0-2 Houston, desperate team, but that offense has been not fun to watch over the last 2 seasons.
You're tired of hearing me say pressure out the middle.
I'm very tired. He's been bad longer than he's been good.
I got the Bengals.
The Bengals.
3.5 point dog, but you go up against Carson Wentz.
I don't know, man.
Minnesota.
Ooh.
Ooh, the Jets. I'm going to go ahead and
Right
put
back
that
in.
back right there.
Plus 6.5
Bucks
at
were in
Tampa.
the throwbacks this week.
Oh,
beautiful creamsicle throwbacks.
And Dan is stuck with, oh, God, the biggest underdog. All right. Dan, you like dressing up, though. You're good.
Who was that?
The
Saints.
The Saints, just straight garbage. The Saints. Yes,
Billy going to the
Yeah, are we
bucket?
picking for Billy?
Billy, are you going to the bucket? Wait, why am I asking him? Let me pick for Billy. Let me
I am
pick for
not.
Billy.
You're on the show today.
No.
That means you go to the bucket.
that
Yeah,
is-
Pablo
No,
too.
the bylaws.
Yeah, we got to pick
Nope.
for Pablo.
Pablo,
No.
pick for
I'm
Pablo
going to pick
too.
for
Nope.
Pablo too.
Is this Pablo or
this
Billy?
Is for
The
Billy.
bylaws,
This is for
no.
Billy.
No.
The Commanders,
No.
the
That's a
commies.
good one. You want to
No.
keep the commies?
Minus 3.5 at home against the Raiders.
The commies?
He said no. So I
The
guess he's putting it
bylaws.
back.
No.
Are you?
The
I'm going to pick
bylaw-
for you
no.
if you don't make a
No.
pick. I don't care. You can keep
The
okay,
bylaws
I'm throwing
state
it back
that you
then.
need to be in the studio.
He doesn't know
That's
what
not
The
true. You just need to
bylaws
be on the
state
show.
He's
you
got
need
the
to be in the
Cowboys. That's
studio.
official. The Cowboys
If
are
if
a
we're not going to
1.5
start
point
following the
favorite
rules,
against the Bears.
then
He's got the
no,
Cowboys.
the bylaws state that
Pablo's
you're supposed
got-
to be in the studio.
Trade him
Army.
down. He's got the Cowboys.
All right.
Pablo's got. Thank you for your service, Army, Navy, Air Force.
Navy's on a bye.
Mary's on a bye. There you go.
Congratulations
Nope.
to Pablo.
They got that extra week to prepare for Venezuela.
He gets rewarded. Billy, so close us out there from the undisclosed location. Give us all of the reports we need. Give us that is a tree that you are now proud of.
That is a tree.
It looks like it is properly planted. It is straight. Was it hard to get it straight?
Well, I used this this stake thing that then I velcroed the tree to with plant velcro. So hopefully this thing grows and we have some guava soon. Back to you, Dan.
How are you feeling in general about everything that you did out there? 10 cents of saving the earth.
Yeah, I mean, I created some carbon credits, so good for us. This is our third tree that we planted, and we're doing it one tree at a time.
All right, petering out. He's
Back to you,
tired
Dan.
from all of the manual labor.
I'm wet. It's
Yes,
annoying.
It's
you know,
unpleasant.
this whole
Yes.
thing. Honestly, this work was worth 3 cents, and screw the environment.
This
Like,
is
why
why
are we wasting
Kawhi
so
didn't
much
wanna
time?
do
Who
it.
cares? Exactly right. What a waste of everybody's time planting trees. Who cares?
All right, good work. Way to save the earth.
Can we get a shot at Danny one more time? No? All right.
No, that's enough of that. He is all wet. It's unpleasant to be wet. And in general, the socks is the...
Oh, I just got warm socks. It's delightful.
Socks or underwear? Put it on the poll at Le Batard
Wet
Show.
socks are the worst.
What's the worst? Wet socks or wet underwear at Le Batard Show? Because those are your two choices.
Brother, if your underwear are wet.
Really? Really? Okay. That's
for
Chris.
Tony, you
All
know?
right. That's sensual Chris Berman. Is that who that was? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Why were your socks wet, Chris Cody?
Because it was pouring when I walked in this morning, and I did the thing. I need to have an umbrella in my car. What am I doing with my life if I don't have an umbrella in my car?
Damn near 40. No umbrella. I 40 years without an umbrella. Got to keep marching on.
Embarrassing thing to do in public.
I had a sweater in my backpack that was not like water resistant. It was just like a cloth.
I couldn't tell you the last time I was outside. It was raining, and I said, "Where's my umbrella?"
I can't do that. Can you imagine?
But when it's picture
opening
me
an umbrella and walking with it.
Picture me running across the street. I'm running across the street with a wool sweater over me. Just
so what?
Ugh. My shoes were wet. My socks were wet.
I've never owned an umbrella in South Florida. I just haven't.
Good on you. Good on you.
What is
Proud
wrong
of
with you people?
Proud of you.
You're walking around outside with an umbrella like a Mary Poppins?
You have
pouring rain.
You
Why
have
would
an
I wanna
umbrella
get
at your
soaked?
house. I'm gonna text your wife.
That may be for other people.
She might have one.
Yeah.
I got news for you.
I've never owned an umbrella. I've never gone in
Hers
my
is
car
yours.
and gotten
Good.
an umbrella. I've never purchased an umbrella.
What are you, the penguin?
I mean, it's like asking me if I've ever purchased a parasol.
You know what I'll do? I'll literally put my head down and just keep marching on.
Yeah.
Like any red-blooded American man should.
Get a little wet, so what?
I have a computer with me. I don't want it to get wet, right?
I mean, look at these people with their umbrellas.
Look at that loser. Really happy. Look at that loser.
Dork.
I'm not going to judge others for having an
I
umbrella.
will. I will.
I didn't know what Mike was talking about, but now I see that guy. He looks like a loser.
Ridiculous.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I would. That's not far enough.
Really? You want
Not far enough.
You want to call somebody who's walking
Yeah,
around
who
with
wants
an
to stay
umbrella?
dry and opens up an umbrella? No. Look at it. Look at these people protecting their equipment. Can you imagine?
I need to stop what we're doing here and celebrate that Billy did indeed pay a punishment. It has been a long time since Billy paid a punishment, and I wish for the audience to see the last time that Billy paid a punishment, because I think that this is one of the funniest things to ever happen on the show. We are talking to the actor Rob Delaney. Rob Delaney is, at the time, promoting a book in which he is talking about the most serious of subject matter, the passing of his son. And it's just, you're saying to yourself, how can that possibly be funny? Well, watch and listen.
And I don't know what your pain is exactly, right? I can't possibly know, even though you've written a book. But I feel like I lost a son because I raised him.
Yeah, it's brutal, and I'm glad that you are talking about it. I'm so incredibly sorry. I'm glad that you're crying and that people can hear that, because the pain.
There's an old-timey baseball player here, Rob. Like what? Yes, thank you. Like I can't cry in front of these people. Do you know how weak it is? Do you know? I'm a blubbering idiot, Rob. I need this to be funny. Like look, there's an old-timey baseball player, Rob.
I know you feel weak, but at least you weren't holding an umbrella. When it came off way worse.
Man.
One of our best cuts ever to Billy there.
If you are just listening and not watching, you don't know how funny it is that in the middle of that, the camera panned to Billy, who was dressed like a 1919 baseball player wearing a ridiculously white fake mustache and staring down the camera. But that's funny for a number of reasons. The size of the hat is what's helping here so much, because we simply haven't worn hats
formats that way in 100 years. In 100 years. And so finally, some punishments got paid off around here. It's a time of great celebration. We finally, and now Pablo, you got to admit, though, Pablo's mummy costume, he just went and got a roll of toilet paper. Like, we can't make that easy.
That's what that is. In fact, that's what it was the last time we did one of those.
How else should you mummify?
You want ace bandages?
What do you want?
You want them to go to Stan Winston?
I want full body. Look, we have to respect the costumes. Like, we have to respect that these are punishments.
Don't you like for like 20 straight Halloweens, didn't you just put on a clown wig?
You will not question my costume integrity in public or
Show us
in
how it's
private.
done. Come in as a mummy.
I have shown you how it's done.
We'll see you as a mummy tomorrow then?
It was a Rasa wig, which honestly doesn't scream ally
Oh,
anymore.
how about this? I got one. If the Dolphins win tonight, we all show up as mummies.
Whatever.
Dan, you got to scrub those pictures from the internet, man. That's not a good look. Although I guess it's fine now.
It is. Comedy is legal again.
That's a bet. If the Dolphins win tonight, we all have to do the show tomorrow
how did I get
as
lumped in
mummies.
this?
That's a bet.
Oh, come on, man.
It's not a real thing.
It's
Who
gonna
cares?
be toilet paper,
No,
though.
I don't want to do that. I had the opportunity to pick that. I'm like, no, this is hard. This is a punishment. I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm going thrifting.
Speaking of punishments, are you guys with Zazzlo and Billy on the NBA's not going to do anything here? Because I just have not seen reporting like this done around a scandal because of how hard it is to get close to the rich people when they're trying to protect themselves from you seeing anything. Like they're very good at it. They have systems in place to make sure that they're very good at it. And the stories of the powerful people are falling apart in a way that Pablo's disentangling is very embarrassing.
I am speaking only for myself here as someone that is watching this reporting come in real time, and I have not seen the NBA's investigation, which is still ongoing. I know what the Clippers have said earlier, but if I'm just Joe's sports fan, I have enough now to assume that anything that would explain the behavior would feel like a cover-up to me, because this is as dead to rights a salary cap circumnavigation that it ever has appeared in our sports landscape.
Certainly the media providing it for you as opposed to a league investigation. The Patriots Deflategate investigation. Ted Wells was paid $5 million for that. The state of the media right now, people can't afford to do that anymore, to spend that kind of money to do something like this. And Pablo's crew has done it cheap, but it is really exhaustive to spend 7 months doing anything, and the media is crippled in a way that makes it damn near impossible to even try something like this, never mind succeed and execute.
This is the transparency that sports fans have always wanted with these investigations, where you just have to take a league's word for it, where the league, with the Ted Wells investigation, certainly had stuff to maintain. Their financial interests were certainly tied with the New England Patriots dynasty.
Folks, listen up. The NFL is rolling, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers, this is for you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DAN. That's code DAN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.